November is National Adoption Awareness Month, so we're going to tell you today about a very special family. Because of one woman's loving decision to make an adoption plan for her daughter, two families would reap the joys and benefits for years to come. Theirs would be a reunion with some surprising twists. Stay with us. Bethany Steele's account of her adoption includes some memorable moments, but it could have been over before it even began. 24 years ago, Bethany's birth mother, Kim Shelton, found herself unexpectedly pregnant. Already the mother of two sons, and in the midst of a divorce, Kim was scared and unsure of what to do. Her living situation was unsafe, and she didn't feel she had the resources to take care of another child. Afraid and alone, she seriously contemplated aborting her pregnancy.
I was so scared because I had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I was scared to death because I didn't know how I was going to do it.
Now, was abortion one of your considerations?
Yes.
How seriously did you consider that?
I really did consider it a lot.
So what changed your mind to decide to carry the pregnancy to term?
I'd seen a thing in the newspaper, actually, and it was about a pregnancy crisis. And that kind of summed me up. It was nothing but one big crisis my whole life at that time. And I got her address and her phone number and called her, and I went there, and she is the one who convinced me, you know, that abortion wasn't the way to go, you know, at all. She gave me hope that the world wasn't going to come to an end by me carrying Bethany full term, you know. And
did she open your eyes to the consideration of making an adoption plan for Bethany?
Oh, absolutely. I was beginning to think I was strong enough to give my baby up. I knowed I couldn't raise her, but I just didn't know how I was going to give her up.
With the aid of a pregnancy help center, Kim Shelton lovingly decided to make an adoption plan for Bethany. Elaine and John Steele were living in Dayton, Tennessee, and had already adopted one son, Nathan, when they felt ready for another. Bethany was welcomed with open arms into the Steele family. While growing up, Bethany always knew she was adopted. And though she experienced nothing but love and acceptance from John and Elaine, she always felt a part of her was missing.
My parents always told me that my mom wasn't able to keep me, but she always loved me. And it wasn't because she didn't love me. It was hard growing up, knowing I was adopted, feeling as though there was some type of void.
Did you struggle with the feeling of being unwanted or unloved at all?
To a certain degree, I did. And I never dealt with that here. You know, my parents always made sure that I was loved.
When we return, we'll hear about Bethany's search for and emotional reunion with her birth mother.
Look around you. We're surrounded by people who courageously face difficult obstacles life has thrown in their paths. Tune in each week to meet people who show there are positive, godly solutions to tough, critical situations. This Emmy Award-winning show tackles challenging life issues such as abortion, stem cell research, and adoption, and shows every human life is valuable and precious. Join us for inspiring stories of people facing life head-on.
John and Elaine Steele are Bethany's adoptive parents. At an early age, Bethany began seeking answers from them regarding her birth parents. As can be expected, John and Elaine were nervous about how this search could affect their daughter, but they promised Bethany and their adopted son Nathan they would eventually provide them with information regarding their birth parents. John, did you see any voids in your children's lives because they knew they were adopted? Did they feel that anything was missing?
The only one that I really felt like was struggling with it was Bethany, that she had this desire to know her mother, to find out exactly the circumstances. And so we had agreed that once they turned 18, we would give them the information that we were given in order that they could pursue it if they desired to.
There must have been some trepidation for you as parents to know that she would eventually go out and search for her birth parents.
I think I felt that more than John did. I felt like it would become almost a triangle. It would be, you know, the birth mother and myself and Bethany. And I can't really say I looked forward to the day when she met her birth mother, but at the same time, when it was time, I just felt the Lord had prepared my heart, and I was ready for her to go ahead and meet her and answer a lot of those questions that she did have about her past.
I have always wanted to know. I've always been intrigued by the idea of where I got my physical characteristics from, my personality. I've always wanted to know.
So share your journey of how you began to search for your mother.
I started writing a letter, and I sent one, and she never received it. Weeks later, she hadn't received it. So I wrote another one, put a picture in it, but this one I talked more about myself, whereas the previous one I talked more about my life, my family. And she received the second one first with a photo, and the next day she received the first one I'd sent. And she called me on the phone after receiving it, and I immediately knew it was her by her voice, I guess. I don't know. I immediately knew, and just broke down crying. And we talked for about 45 minutes on the phone and decided to meet at an area here. It's a walking track here called Point Park.
Kim Shelton had spent the past 18 years thinking about Bethany almost every day. She always had the desire to meet her, but didn't want to disrupt the Steele family. For Kim, years of not knowing her daughter and the guilt she felt for not keeping her took its toll. But a few precious letters and gifts from John and Elaine gave her great comfort. What gave you peace and joy through all this?
The adoptive parents, they were awesome. They would send me colorings that Bethany had colored. They sent me a picture of Bethany as a baby, of course. And so, yeah, they helped me get through it. Yeah, there were times that there was no hope because of the guilt and the shame and the hurt.
Well, I understand that that was one of the things you were concerned about when you first met Bethany, that she would be angry with you.
I kept her brothers and not her. You know what I mean? And but oh my goodness, Martin and Ronnie were living so hard too. Well, I moved away from my parents because it got too hard after that, after they found out about Bethany. And Martin and Ronnie didn't get a lot to eat. Thank you. And I know that that's the life Bethany would have lived. And I couldn't put her through it. She was a little girl, and a little girl's supposed to have everything. The ruffled dresses, you know, the bows in her hair. It's supposed to be so precious.
She had a pretty good life, didn't she?
Yeah, she did, didn't she?
So take us back to the time when you and Bethany first met face to face. What was that like?
We were at the park, and she had been waiting on me. And I got out. It was kind of dusky dark, and we were walking up to one another, and then we just broke out in a dead run and ran towards one another and grabbed each other. And then it was like relief, like a bunch of stuff just fell. And oh gosh, and we sat and talked for hours at that park.
Did it feel like a big load was off your shoulders
Oh
at
my
that point?
goodness, yeah. Yeah, she didn't hate me.
We fell into each other's arms and just started crying. It was the moment I'd been waiting for my whole life.
What did she say to you at that point?
Before anything was said, asked me why I didn't hate her, why I wasn't pushing her away. And she proceeded to say, I gave you away. I let you go, you know? Why do you love me? Why did you want to meet me? Why don't you hate me? Because she had felt so guilty.
So what did you say to her?
You're my mom. You're my birth mother. I've always wanted to know you. You're where I came from.
Bethany, did you struggle with any feelings toward Kim for making that decision to place you for adoption?
I never did. I never felt any feelings of resentment towards her. I questioned the reason. But I never wondered whether she loved me or not. I felt like she had to love me to carry me for 9 months and then make a selfless decision to release me for adoption so I can have a better home.
I understand that the figurine over your shoulder is something that your birth mom purchased for you years before you met.
She had bought it for me years before we met and gave it to me, and it was the first gift that she gave me.
So that's a very special
It is.
gift.
It is.
Did you give her a gift then as a first gift?
The first gift that I gave her was Mother's Day. She said that she always wanted to have the chance to put ribbons in my hair when I was growing up. And so she opened the box and it was several little ribbons tied into bows on clips. And I told her for the first time she had ribbons for my hair.
What was her reaction to that?
Tears. Lots of tears.
Coming up, we'll hear about Bethany's discovery that one of her close friends was actually her biological brother.
Whether you're a student needing answers, a parent needing help, or a concerned citizen wanting to make a difference, Life Issues Institute has the resources you need to put your values into action. Life Issues Institute is an international educational organization committed to protecting innocent human life. Life Issues Institute knows what it takes. That's why millions throughout the world turn here for help. Life Issues Institute has authored more pro-life publications than any other entity in the world, and its materials are printed in over 30 languages. Radio broadcasts, newsletters, and a website filled to the brim with the answers you're looking for are just a click away. Go to facinglife.tv and click on the link to Life Issues Institute to find out more about how you can change the heart of a nation.
During their first meeting, Kim informed Bethany she had 2 biological brothers. After learning their names, Bethany was shocked to find out she had already had a connection to each of them. Her new brother Mart was an old high school friend of her brother Nathan. But the bigger twist was discovering her good friend Ronnie was actually her biological brother. Both Mart and Ronnie were surprised and excited to learn of their new sister. So what was it like when you found out that your friend Nathan was actually related to you?
See, that was cool because I knew Nathan, but I still didn't know Nathan's little sister. It was crazy to think that Nathan's little sister was my little sister, whom I've never met before. But that was, it was good. It gave me a connection to her before I knew her, I guess, which was cool. The night we met, she and I and Mom and Ronnie just stayed up at Huddle House just catching up, and it just immediately felt right.
Ronnie, tell me about your friendship with Bethany before you knew she was your sister.
I remember meeting her in high school, her freshman year. One of our mutual friends actually tried to hook us up. It's kind of how I met her.
It's kind of good they didn't, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was I guess around a year later we started working together. We developed a friendship and, you know, just a relationship.
Undoubtedly, it probably came as a shock to find out one of your friends was actually your sister.
Yeah, she sent me a text on my way home from school one night. And it was after we both knew, but we hadn't talked yet. And I remember her words, she said, "Isn't this most precarious?" It was real neat.
So what is it like for you guys to be in a small community where, you know, a lot of people know many other people? To find out then that you're related, did it change your relationship, the way you interacted or looked at each other?
It's really neat to have, you know, people in an extended family. Like, you know, you have friends that you consider family, but, you know, I mean, when you actually have a connection to friends where it makes you family, I mean, that's overwhelming, really, just to have, you know, more good people in your life. You know, that's never going to hurt, you know, more good people being close to you. So.
It's been several years since Bethany discovered her biological family. Since then, the Shelton and Steele families have come together and formed one big happy family. The whole group gets together a few times a year for special events, and life couldn't be better. Tell me about your relationship with Kim now. What's it like?
Amazing.
How
It's
so?
amazing. Well, for starters, just holidays and stuff. It wouldn't be Christmas if my entire family, biological and adopted, weren't here together.
In one house?
In one house. Everybody's laughing, everybody's joking.
Getting along?
Getting along perfect.
The relationship with the adopted families, that can be a good thing. That doesn't have to be a terrifying thought or a scary thought, because my little girl's adopted family has become my family. I want to be with them at Christmas. I love these people.
Do you feel completeness that you didn't feel before?
I feel as though that void has been filled. My mom has even said that. She says that I'm whole now.
In a moment, we'll hear Bethany and Kim's advice for young women considering adoption.
Look around you. Every day, heroes abound in our country. We're surrounded by people who courageously face difficult obstacles life has thrown in their paths. Tune in each week to meet people who show there are positive, godly solutions to tough, critical situations. We'll tackle challenging life issues such as abortion, stem cell research, adoption, and abstinence, and show that every human life is valuable and precious. Join us for inspiring stories of people facing life head-on.
Bethany Steele's story of her adoption and reunion is a testament to the wonderful joys choosing life and adoption can bring to many families. Kim still sometimes feels pangs of guilt, but she knows she made the right choice. Her sons and daughter will be forever grateful for the decision she made, a decision many unexpectedly pregnant women have to face.
Mom feels guilty for ever having to give Bethany up. But she chose life. She chose to give that baby a life that it couldn't have with us, not at that time. And it worked out pretty well, you know. There are moms in tough spots right now who don't know what to do. And they think that they don't have a choice. But they do.
What would you say to a young woman who was unexpectedly pregnant, is watching this program, listening to your story? What advice would you have for her, knowing that she's considering abortion right as we speak?
Please don't do it. It will get better. It will. I mean, right now it doesn't seem like it at all. but honestly, take it from me and find somebody like I did that'll help you, that is positive. Right now everything seems negative. There's a lot of positives, there really is, and all they have to do is find that certain someone. There is a lot of positive people out there, so don't look on negative, look on the positive, and because they're worth it. Oh boy, they're worth keeping, they're worth not killing.
If Kim had not consciously made that choice to carry Bethany full term, we wouldn't be sitting here having this discussion with you. And I would encourage a pregnant girl to definitely seek adoption.
There are a lot of parents out there that aren't able to, or families out there that want a family but can't have one on their own. And we would have never had the opportunity if these parents hadn't given up their children so our family could be complete.
Let's give you a chance to talk to Kim on camera.
Yeah.
What message do you want to give her?
Thank you for providing me a lifetime